Hello everyone, hope you're doing great. So today we are going to start with a new series that is Medieval India, and this is the history book for class 11th and written by Satish Chandra. Let's start with chapter number 1, India and the World. Many important changes took place in Europe and Asia after the 8th century. These changes not only altered the relationship between Europe and Asia, but also had far-reaching effect on the thinking and pattern of living of the people. These developments had an indirect effect on India as well, since India had a large trade with the old Roman Empire. Europe. In Europe, the mighty Roman Empire had broken into two by the third quarter of the 6th century. The western part, with its capital at Rome, and had been overwhelmed by the Slav and Germanic tribesmen coming from the side of Russia and Germany. These tribes came in many waves and indulged in a great deal of ravaging and plundering in the territories of the old Roman Empire. But in course of time, these tribes settled down in different parts of Europe, profoundly changing the character of the old population as well as the languages and pattern of the government. The foundations of many of the modern European nations were laid during this period as a result of the commingling of these tribesmen with the local population. The eastern part of the old Roman Empire had its capital at Constantinople. In it included the most eastern Europe as well as modern Turkey, Syria, and North Africa. This empire, which was called the Byzantine Empire, continued many of the traditions of the Roman Empire, such as strong monarchy and a highly centralized administration. However, in belief and ritual, it had many differences with the Catholic Church in the West, which had its headquarters at Rome. The church in the East was called the Greek Orthodox Church. It was due to its efforts of the Byzantine rulers that Russia was converted to Christianity. Modern Turkey and Syria, which were part of the Byzantine Empire, also followed the Greek Orthodox Church. The Byzantine Empire was a large and flourishing empire which continued to trade with Asia after the collapse of the Roman Empire in the West. It created traditions of government and culture, many of which were later absorbed by the Arabs when they overran Syria and Egypt. It also acted as a bridge between the Greco-Roman civilization and the Arab world, and later helped in the revival of Greek learning in the West. It disappeared finally in the middle of the 15th century when Constantinople fell to the Turks. For several centuries after the collapse of the Roman Empire in the West, the cities virtually disappeared in Western Europe, and foreign and inland trade received a severe setback. This period in Western Europe is called by the historians the Dark Age. However, from the 10th century onwards, trade and with it city life began to revive. Between the 12th and the 14th century, Western Europe was again able to attain a high level of prosperity. A notable feature of the period was growth of science and technology, growth of towns, and establishment of universities in a number of cities, such as Padua and Milan in Italy. The universities played an important part in the growth of new learning and new ideas, which were gradually led to Renaissance and the rise of New Europe. Thank you everyone for tuning in. In the next part, we will start with growth of feudalism on page number 2. This is the book of Medieval India. This is the NCERT Medieval India History book for class 11th, written by Satish Chandra. And see you in the next video. All the best for exams, and do share and subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Thank you everyone.